Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Gamertag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video, and in today's video we're going to be going over the best controller settings for Fortnite Battle Royale. As we all know, or at least most of us probably, Fortnite actually released a brand new update today and brought forth a brand new setting system which allows us to actually have a lot more control over our gameplay overall. It brings a lot more advanced settings, and also with that being said, a lot of players are confused as to what certain settings mean. So a lot of people are scrambling and try to figure out what are the settings they should be using. So today's video will be going over that. Now if you guys enjoyed today's video, a like would be very much appreciated. However, on the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. With that out of the way, let's hop right into today's video. Now just hopping right into things, if you were to look at your settings menu like we typically would have before, you can see that in your sensitivity settings, so for all of them it's actually like gray or blacked out, and we're unable to even access them or make any edits or changes to them. And this of course is because of the new update that Epic Games actually brought forth towards Fortnite. Now the brand new menu is actually to the right of it, and as you guys can see, when we go over to this menu right here, it's extremely basic. We only have 10 different sensitivity settings. First of all, what we want to do is we want to scroll down to advanced options, and we simply want to slide it over to on instead of having this off. And now this is what actually allows us to have control over essentially everything in the game. In fact, have more control over different settings that weren't originally in the game prior to this update. So the first thing we want to do is we actually want to go to the bottom, and there's going to be two settings that we can actually change. One's going to be copy from basic, and the other one we can select, not change, is copy from legacy. So basically we want to go ahead and copy from legacy, and what this means is it's actually just transferring our settings we had previously over into this kind of setting system, which of course is what we want to do. We want to have our settings in this menu. Simply click A or X on it to copy from legacy, and now if you go and look through your settings, you'll see that actually all of your sensitivity settings are in fact configured to what they were previously. So that's essentially how you guys can get realistically the best setting system that we need, the one that's obviously more user friendly and allows us to have more control over everything. But now we're going to hop into what I think is the best settings and what I strongly recommend you guys replicate, and I'll even go shortly into discussion of what certain settings mean, because I know a lot of you guys probably are confused on that. So first of all, for the build mode sensitivity multiplier, which is all the way at the top, we want to have this at, well, I have mine at a 1.9x, which is kind of like a multiplier again. Now this is actually quite high. In fact, you can raise it way higher now than what you were ever able to do, but still, regardless of that fact, this is still a lot higher than what I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to have yours at, or have them at right now. So I'd say on average, the average player probably has theirs at like a 1.3. So what I really recommend you guys do is once you're comfortable with a 1.3 or whatever setting you have it at, then raise it to like a 1.4. Once you're comfortable with that setting, then to a 1.5, and so on and so forth. And eventually you'll just kind of find a setting that you're simply stuck with, or you just simply are satisfied with. And for me, that sensitivity multiplier setting was 1.9. I really don't intend on changing this whatsoever. I'm very satisfied with this, and again, I really don't see myself raising it at any point. Next is the edit mode sensitivity multiplier, and for this I just recommend everyone have theirs at a 2.0. This basically means you're able to edit twice the speed that you were originally able to edit at. So unlike the building sensitivity multiplier, I don't find this one to be as critical. So definitely I really recommend, no matter what you have it at right now, just raise it to a 2.0. This way we can have faster and more precise edits. Now we're going to go down into the look sensitivity. So first of all, the look horizontal speed, I have mine at a 47%. And then I have my look vertical speed at a 57%. Now if I'm thinking correctly, these two are kind of the same as X and Y sensitivity that we had previously. So this will affect your free aim. So when you're not aimed down sights with the weapon, you're simply running around or hip firing, which is typically used with pumps and tacs or even SMGs. This again is what it'll affect. So this is actually a very important sensitivity setting. This will affect your close range gunfight. So again, with like a pump and tac and SMG is what this will affect. So again, I have mine at a 47% for look horizontal speed and a 57% for my look vertical speed. And as far as I know, I'd say the average like really competitive Fortnite player would have theirs around these two settings. So I strongly recommend you guys replicate these. Now next is going to be the turning horizontal boost as well as the turning vertical boost. Now I believe by default it's at a 0% for both of these. And just to give you a general idea of what the turning boosts do for horizontal and vertical, is essentially like an extra speed, or hence the word boost, applied when the look stick is actually activated. So by raising your boost speeds, it simply allows you for quicker turns while maintaining look precision. So again, keeping that at 0%, really won't affect much. It'll just be like normal sensitivity settings as always. However, raising them a little bit kind of acts like dead zones in a sense. Simply by moving our analog sticks, it simply just gives us a quicker turn. It'll allow for more snappier movement. So for me, I have both of these set to an 8%. It's not too much of an adjustment made, definitely not super significant, but it simply will allow us to have faster turns, yet still maintain a lot of control over them. Next is going to be the turning boost ramp time. Now, I currently have mine at a 0.00 seconds, and now this setting is actually related to the turning horizontal and vertical boost that we just changed. Now, if you guys have yours at like 1 second, basically, the boost that we just added, again, the 8% boost, won't even be in effect until after 1 second. So this one, I really recommend everyone have theirs at a 0.00 seconds. Reason being is because with this setting, the boost that we added, again, the 8%, will automatically take effect. It'll kick in instantly, and that, of course, is what we want. Next is going to be the instant boost when building. This we should have on. Again, it's just like the turning boost ramp time. Basically, when we go to build, our boost will actually be activated in this immediately as well. This will of course allow for quicker builds, more snappier and accurate builds, so that of course is definitely what we want. So if you have this off, I strongly recommend you turn this on. Now next is going to be the ADS sensitivity settings. So for me, my ADS look horizontal speed is set to an 11%, and my ADS look vertical speed is set to a 14%. Again, the horizontal and vertical boosts are essentially the same thing. However, this is going to be in effect when you're aimed down sights. So I have both my horizontal and vertical boost set to a 10%. And then I have my ADS turning boost ramp time set to a 0.00 seconds. Of course, this way it will take effect immediately. And now swiftly moving forward, this is going to be the advanced settings for sensitivity settings. And this one, the first one, is actually probably the most important and honestly can affect a lot. This can definitely make or break your performance and gameplay. And this is going to be the look dampening time. Now originally I had set mine to a 0.00 seconds, I believe. And this is basically kind of like dead zones. So the second you move your analog stick, whether it's just barely moving it at all or moving it all the way, it'll kind of take into effect as if you're moving it all the way. So it's kind of hard to explain, but basically by lowering it to a 0.00 seconds, you're losing a lot of control. There's really no way to actually slowly move your analog stick to the right or look around easier. It'll just always be full max speed. So this is again what I originally had it at. However, after playing a couple of the Zone Wars games, which you guys will see the gameplay in the background, I eventually kind of adjusted my sensitivity settings to suit my needs better. Now the change that I made to my look dampening time is I actually raised it to a 0.14 seconds. This allowed me to have way more control over everything. When it was at a 0.00 seconds or anything lower than a 0.14, everything felt so out of control and too fast for me to even keep up with it. So by raising it from a 0.00 seconds to a 0.14 seconds, this allowed me to again have a way better sense of control over everything. My builds and overall accuracy improved significantly. So I strongly recommend again to keep yours at a 0.14 seconds. Next is the look input curve. Now this is something that is very new to Fortnite. Essentially, just we want to keep this at exponential. There's linear and exponential. Realistically, before this setting was even added, the game was defaulted on exponential. So by moving it to linear, it gives it a way more raw and rough feeling overall in the game. Exponential, when you look around, everything feels a lot more smoother. But again, when you put it to linear, everything is more choppy and it's extremely weird. It's definitely not worth getting used to or even make the change. So again, keep your look input curve to exponential. Then the aim assist strength we should always have at 100%. There's literally never a time this shouldn't be here. So if yours is lower than 100% for whatever reason, please raise this to 100%. Your overall accuracy will improve tenfold. And overall, this is basically all the new setting changes we're making in this setting system. Now next we're actually going to hop into the miscellaneous settings, and the only couple ones that I really recommend you have on or off. So first of all, we have sprint by default on, and there's a couple of reasons why. One of the main reasons is it actually allows us to have a new button to bind to any action in our keybinds. So basically this frees up the left analog stick to any button we like to use. A lot of people will use this for edit, and I'll kind of tell you guys what I use mine for when we go over to the keybind section. And then also another main reason why we should be using this is because realistically, there's never a time in Fortnite where you shouldn't be sprinting. Now of course you could kind of argue that and say that when you're crouching in Fortnite then you're not sprinting and you shouldn't be. However, when you crouch, sprint by default is not even in effect. So again, sprint by default we should have on. And also the next one we should have on is tap to search or interact. This allows us to simply press X or square instead of holding it when we're opening chests, ammo boxes, as well as reviving players. And then lastly, for miscellaneous settings, I strongly recommend you have edit mode aim assist off. This will allow us to have more control over our edits and not have Fortnite predicting what edits we're going to make, which realistically there's no way they're even able to do that. Next, we're going to talk about the brightness setting quickly for a few seconds here. I have mine set to a 0.80. 0.0, and the default value is originally at a 0.50. The reason I raised it is just because it allows me to have a better visual of everything in the game, so whenever there's a dark area like the attic of a room or the corner of a room, I can simply see players a lot better. Now we've all had scenarios in the game where we got eliminated simply due to the fact that we were unable to see an opponent whether they were in like a dark area. And just by raising our brightness, it allows us to have, again, a better visual of everything, and will essentially eliminate that from even happening. And now we're going to hop into the keybinds, and then lastly discuss the dead zones. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably looking forward to this part of the video. So my keybinds are pretty simple, however kind of unique in my opinion. So there's only 2 changes I've really made, or 3 rather. So the first one is I have Y, or triangle for PS4, binded to edit, and then I have my left analog stick clicked in, binded to toggle pickaxe. So this of course is why we have sprint by default on. And actually, if you guys were wondering any other Fortnite player that uses this, well, Faceway actually uses these settings, and he's obviously regarded as one of the greatest Fortnite players in the world. So that fact alone should just let you guys know that these settings are extremely amazing, and honestly I really recommend you guys use them. So again, Y is binded to edit, and then the left analog stick clicked in is binded to toggle pickaxe. And then lastly, for my confirm button, I have this set to left trigger for my editing. So originally it's set to B or circle, so simply I just made the switch over to left trigger. It allows me to have a lot quicker edits and confirm them a lot quicker, so I strongly recommend you guys use this setting. And then next we're going to hop into our dead zones. Now my dead zones are pretty simple. My left analog stick is set to a 0.10, and then my right analog stick is also set to a 0.10. This is basically half of the default value. It just allows us to have more control over everything. Everything again is a lot quicker and snappier, and of course this also goes hand in hand with the new setting system that we have. So again, 0.1 for both is strongly what I recommend you guys use. It just allows us to have a lot more control over everything, quicker movements, and just better accuracy overall. So that's pretty much it for today's video in terms of these settings. Let me know what you guys thought down below, and also what settings you use that you strongly recommend we use. Now if you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. On the contrary, if you genuinely disliked today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike. And also if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. Nonetheless, my name is DeadZones. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.